Hello and welcome to Clay Creators. Today's model is one of our quick builds. It's a smaller model, it will be able to be built a little bit quicker, but it gives you the opportunity to basically mix and experiment with colours. So we will give you an outline of the measurements. Once we've given you a few examples and options, you can then obviously design your own. Like I say, a few examples here. We've got a turquoise, a green, a partly mixed green, should I say, and a nice simple red. Like I say, we'll go through the measurements with you, guide you how to build, and you can pick and choose colours when we get to that stage. Okay, so it's going to be the key stage 2, meaning we are going to need our scales, our creator cards, and our tools, our pots of clay. Not so much. Not really needed so much during a quick build would be an airtight container. If you've got one, it's handy just in case you're stopping the video, pausing, keep it nice and fresh in there during the build. And then obviously our pots of clay. Okay, so we're going to get started. I'm going to move these off for the time being. I'll bring them back up if need be as we go. So we're going to start with the stem or the stalk. We're only going to change the color slightly. Okay, so it may look white, but it is slightly changed, kind of a little bit of yellow added in there as well. Okay, so let's get started by getting our scales on. Make sure they're at 0 and they're on the right measurement or the right unit, which should be grams. And like I say, we'll get started with the white clay. And we're going to measure this out at 4.60, so 4.60 of white. Bad measuring today. Fantastic. And so we're only going to add a little bit of yellow. Okay, so the yellow, excuse me, is only going to be 0, 1, 0. So 0, 10 of yellow. So like I say, we're only changing the stem very slightly. Very slightly. Okay. Rest of your clay away, lids on, keep that fresh for later. Okay. Give that a mix. Mix the yellow all the way through. Like I say, it's only going to change slightly. It's going to be very light. Again, if you decide you want to make it a little bit more yellowy, add a touch more. If you've added a little bit too much, add a little bit more white just to level it all off. Okay. Once you've mixed that all through and you're happy with that, give it a roll, get rid of all those lines, any lumps, bumps in there. I'll use my hands. You may want to use your workstation. We're looking to get a nice smooth round ball to start off with. Okay. Once you've got that, we're going to shape it. Now we're going to use our creator card to give you kind of a guide. But again, this is one of those parts where you can pick and choose. Okay. I'll give you a guide of what we're going to do because I'm going to just do one mushroom. You could possibly make 2 out of this, a small one and a big one, or 2 even-sized ones. It's completely up to you. But I'll give you a guide, and then if you want to pause the video and come back to it again, it's up to you. Okay, so once we've got this smooth round ball, I'm going to be aiming to roll it out to around about 5 centimeters on my ruler. So I'm going to roughly, like I say, just rough, nice and gentle pressure all the way along to roll it into a sausage sort of shape. Okay. Now the clay will, as it dries, it may droop slightly, so the mushroom may, as you can see with this one, kind of loop to one side, which is fine because a lot of mushrooms aren't sitting up straight dry anyway. Okay, so I've rolled this out. I'm just short of 5 centimeters, so I'm going to give it a little bit more. Now at the top or one end, it doesn't matter which end, I'm going to just press a little bit more to kind of give it a little bit of a point. So now that I'm finished and I can stand it upright, yeah, like this. Okay, like I say, we're going to be putting the cap on, or the top of the mushroom, and as it dries it may loop slightly anyway. Okay, so I'm happy with that. I've given it a little push down. I've got a nice flat base for it to be stood on, and I'm going to just leave it to dry standing upright whilst we work on the cap. Okay, I would only put it into the airtight container if you are leaving for a while and coming back later on. The build, it's not going to be too long, so it's not a problem. The cap will still sit on the top. Okay, so getting onto the cap, it's completely up to you what you want to do now. Okay, you could just do one color. You may want to just do a nice simple red. Oops. Now if you're going to do a mix, Again, it's just getting the right ratios or the right balance of clay that you want to get the color that you need. Okay, so I'm going to do a green. Okay, so I know I need more yellow than I do blue. Check my scales run. Fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to do a green. So I'm going to start off with my yellow, and I'm going to do 3.90. So 3.90 right now. So slightly short there. 3.9. And I'm just going to add, like I say, just a little bit of blue. 0.40. Now another option when you're doing this is you could possibly do a part mix. So instead of fully mixing these, you can start partway through the mix and get a swirly marble effect. Again, just another option that you may want to explore at some point. So I'm going to put these together, start to mix, and if I was going to do that, I'd stop around about now, roll it into a nice smooth ball. I've kind of got a swirly marble effect. Okay, so if you want to completely finish that, you'll end up with a nice green. I'm going to use this right now. Okay, so again, I've rolled. I'll get rid of all those lines. Try not to mix the clay too much more now, so I'm happy with that. And all we're going to do is shape this into like that cap. It's like an umbrella. It kind of loops over the top of the mushroom, okay? So all I'm going to do for this is give it a gentle press down to kind of start getting the shape we need. So I've gently pressed down. And the workstation will give me a nice flat side. So you can see this. Okay, now the next step is a little bit of molding using your hands. Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to stretch and curve it over, leaving a dent in the bottom. So all I'm going to do is gently take my fingers, stretch around the outsides whilst pulling down slightly, using my thumbs underneath to kind of give it a little bit of a dent. Okay, so we're stretching this clay slightly and giving it that dome sort of shape. So just gentle. Again, if you don't quite get this right, if you make a little mistake, roll it back into a ball and start again. Don't worry. Do not panic if you've not quite got this right. Okay. So as you can see, I've stretched, and now if I put it like this, you can see that we're quite curved. We've got a big dent in the middle, and all I'm going to do, turn it back over, place it on top of the stem or stalk, trying to get that towards the top. Now, if it doesn't sit perfect, like mine isn't, which is fine because mushrooms aren't going to be always exact around. So I'm quite happy how one side's raised and this side drooped a little bit. Gives it a good effect. So as you can see now, it's not even all the way around. Okay, so all we do now is a little bit of decoration. And again, how much you use here for decoration is completely up to you, whether you use the same color as me, whether you want to try a different color. Again, it's completely your choice. I'm going to just take some white clay and I'm going to do a few different size dots dotted around. As you can see on the top of here, you can just do different sizes to get the effect that you're looking for, okay? So in that aspect, you just take your white clay, snap off a few different size pieces, roll them into little balls, and gently press them down, put them onto the top or onto the cap, and randomly place them around. Try and be gentle so you don't damage the rest of the model. Just gently place them. And like I say, you can experiment with this. You may want to, like I say, do a different color, do a mix for the color. You could have some really, really interesting colors dotted around for these mushrooms. Okay, so just a few random dots. Another one around the front here for you. And again, you can experiment as to how flat you want to make these dots, whether you want to make them really standing up, lumpy and bumpy, your choice. Okay, so that's the mushroom pretty much finished. For an example, so over to you to kind of experiment and work your way through these mushrooms. Okay, if you've found that really tricky using the scales and you may want to step back to use Key Stage 1, head over to claycreators.com/shop, where you could order the measuring spoons, which again will help during the measuring stage. Again, if you're running low on clay, again head over to the shop and place an order for a restock. Okay, so thank you very much for joining us today, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you. Bye bye.